everyone. Welcome to Wildlife Conversations. I'm your host, Jen Ritchie. We have a great episode tonight, and I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight live. And I also want to thank Robert's Camera and Use Photo Pro for helping us make another great episode. I'm so excited tonight to welcome Mary Schrader to the podcast. Hi, Mary. We are going to start. I'm so excited to talk with you. I want you to say hi to Mary in the chat if you want. Tell us where you're listening from. And while you're doing that, I want to say again, thank you to Robert's Camera and Use Photo Pro. There's an exclusive coupon code in the description for listeners. And we also have our own contact, Phil Gibson. So if you need anything, if you need any camera gear, you have any questions, call Phil, and he is really good at that. I just called them this week for I got to learn some off-camera flash stuff that I don't want to learn. But anyway, so there's a lot of people already chatting, Mary, to you. So let's like Mike is here, Monty, Heidi, Lori. Oh my goodness, Maureen, Tanya. Oh my goodness, Jenny. So many people. Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you.
I see
Patrick.
my photo camera group is representing. Some of my camera clubs
so
are representing.
Fun. That's so fun. This is always a great group of people. They love to be friendly and supportive and cheer everybody on. Hi, Kim. Hi, Melissa. Oh, that's so sweet. Mary, I'm going to embarrass you a little bit and just tell everybody a little bit about you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So Mary is an award-winning photographer based out of California, but she travels extensively, capturing stunning images that showcase connection and story in places like Africa, Alaska, and the Arctic. Her work has been recognized by Nature Photographer of the Year, Africa Geographic, Remembering Wildlife, NANPA, the San Diego International Photo Exhibition, the Pangolin Photo Challenge, among many others. She's been featured in Forbes, Popular Science, CNN, Peta Pixel, the Telegraph, the Atlantic, and other international publications. With a master's degree in costume and scenic design for theater, Mary's artistic eye captures details which evoke story and emotion. Her goal is to ignite a flame of care and compassion in her audience for the wild creatures she captures. I'm so excited to talk to you tonight, Mary. And I have to tell you that I texted you this week because I was working out on the treadmill at our gym. My husband and I used to own a personal training studio, and now we don't own that anymore, but we still go. So I'm on the treadmill and my husband's like in the diagonal from me and my parents are there and your image comes on the screen and my husband and I are both like, it's me. I'm like yelling across, it's Mary's image. So that was like, I forget what it was, Atmosphere TV or something. It's amazing.
This year's been crazy. This year has been
You're all over the place this week. All over the place. I keep seeing you everywhere. So I was so drawn to your images in the last year. I think we found each other and just stunning every single time. So I know this year has been just like a big year for you. And so let's talk about that first and then rewind to hear how you started. So what happened this year? What is happening?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for this community that you have created with Wildlife Conversations. I mean, and allowing, and being interested in people that, aren't, the biggest people in the whole world and wanting to hear our stories and our passion and how we got into wildlife photography. So I'm honored and thank you.
Oh, thank you for being on. I love it.
So right now, it's so exciting and beautiful and brave, this like chapter of my life that's happening. Mm-hmm. Let me backtrack just a little bit. Is that,
totally fine.
For years, I was raising my family. That's where my energy was, and supporting my husband and his career. And, and he travels a lot for work. And I kind of put a lot of myself on hold, in terms of, my creativity and my passion. And 4 years ago, my son went off to college.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband looked at me and he's like, go, go pursue your passion.
Mm-hmm.
Go. And I was like, I'm embracing that one.
Yeah.
And and it was like, and then I've been putting everything into it since, all my passion, all my energy, everything that I dreamed of, and so much of it is happening, and it's so surreal. But I also have to say is that the fact that it's happening at this point in my life, like I feel like there's such an added depth and perspective, and I feel so much more grateful,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's kind of where I am, and that's where yeah.
Yeah. I think we talked about this whenever I asked you to be on the podcast. We were talking about like how we both feel some of the same things right now. We have very similar very similar life stage. I still have one more in high school, but still that same thing where I was putting everything on hold for my husband's career, and he traveled a lot and running small businesses. But then at some point you realize they're going to leave. Those babies are going to leave.
Right.
And you have to
And
like,
I get to start all over.
right. You have to remember like, oh yeah, I was a creative person. I do have passions and dreams and things like that to do. So that's so amazing. And like this year, just listing off just now those awards and the mentions and all the publications and on TV this week, like it was everywhere. It's amazing, Mary.
It is. I mean, there's this one photo that has leapt me into this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very grateful for it. And I know we're going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I never, my husband has always had this sense of bravado, or just, he's like, hey, enter contest. And he enters contest, and he texts me like daily. He's like, try this contest. And I was like, for a long time. And then eventually I was like, okay, well, let me try some of the free ones,
Yeah.
and I started, then I'd be like the spot of the week or something. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, and I was like, well, it feels kind of good.
Yeah.
And it kind
Absolutely.
of, so I started, putting more and more in. And I look at people that I admire, and I'm like, where are they entering? Because there's so many contests, and a lot of them, are a lot more expensive. Some are less expensive. I want to put, my energy into something that's really going to mean something and matter, and, be seen.
Yeah.
And so I just, couple years, 2 years ago, I was shortlisted for one of the for Nature Photographer of the Year. And I was like, oh my gosh, my stuff got there. And I didn't make it to the final five or anything.
Yeah.
But just
still,
the fact that they wanted my raw photos, I was like, okay, well,
that's some fuel. That's some fuel to the fire.
Right. And maybe my photos are reaching people and speaking to people. So it gave me a little confidence and a little boost. And so then this last year, I definitely, I went for it.
Yeah.
And a lot more
contests. And it paid off. Oh my goodness. It's so exciting. Well, let me show, we were going to talk about your leopard image because you had a story behind that. So let me
I was going to start.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was, well,
it's okay.
No, it's okay. Well, I thought you were going to ask me about how I got into photography.
Yes,
and how I started.
Yes, I would love to know that.
And then I was going to segue into my leopard photo.
Okay, that's great. That's great. That's great. Tell me how you segued into photography. That was my next question. So
okay, so I started when my son was born. Mm-hmm. We were back in the day when you had flip phones, and it was pixelated photos, and it was bad. So I actually had a real camera and wanted to use that real camera to take photos of my son. So I started following family photographers and lifestyle photographers and documentary photographers. And I took online classes, and I went to a couple workshops and retreats. And, that plus I started doing Project 365, where you take a picture every day for a year.
Yes.
And so I was carrying my camera around, everywhere I went, and I had to figure out, how do I take photos in low light? How do I take photos, in the rain, or how do I take photos in bright sun? And at the same time, trying to capture, like, how do you capture a difficult day? Or how do you capture joy?
Yeah.
And so the combination of, taking classes, learning how to use my camera
Every
inside and
day.
out,
Yes.
and, this element of storytelling, kind of all combined
Yeah.
to create, like, where I really kind of all the things started coming together. And
Yeah.
of course, then it sounds like you, I was recruited to do theater shows at school and field trips and parties. And then eventually my son became a middle schooler. And he was like,
No, mom. Yes,
no,
exactly.
like,
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
so I had to figure out something else,
Yep.
because I wanted a camera in my hand all the time. But he could no longer be my muse. And so at that point, we still were traveling a bit, and I was allowed to take photos when I traveled of my son and
Yeah.
life. But I was
Yeah.
also starting to take landscape, and we would travel, and I would ask people, I'd say, where should I go? Where should I go? And
Yeah.
everybody kept saying America's national parks. And I was like, oh. And when I grew up, we went to big cities. We didn't do nature. I think I did Girl
Yeah.
Scouts. I got camping like once a
Yeah. Yeah.
year.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the doing the national parks, it was like, first I was trying landscapes, and landscapes not my thing. I think people who do it and can evoke emotion are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I haven't mastered that skill yet. And but at the same time, like, I was like, those marmots are really cool,
Oh,
and
so
those
cool. Yeah.
moose and the bears. And so I started planning our travel around national parks,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, we really need to go to Katmai. We have to, right?
We have to. Darn it.
Yeah. And so that became my passion. And then, I'd always wanted to go to Africa. My whole life, I'd always wanted to go to Africa. And I was like, it's going to be a once in a lifetime trip.
Yeah.
And, let's wait
Little
till our
did you
son's in high
know.
school. Right, right. So we went on our first trip, and, I feel like America's national parks were like a gateway drug to Africa. So
That's what
just
everybody
wait.
tells me. Yeah, that's what everyone's telling me. Yes. Oh,
And yeah, and so then, we finally got to Africa, and I wanted to now the leopard photo.
yes. Now the leopard photo.
Now the leopard photo.
And you can see that, right? It's big. It should be there in
No,
a second. It should be there. There it is.
there.
Yeah.
So we were watching
It's gorgeous.
this leopard mom and her two young cubs,
Mm-hmm.
and they were playing and wrestling, and I mean, just pure joy, just watching them. And the mama leopard started walking down the path, and one of the littles ran ahead and hid behind a bush and was doing something. And just as mom passed, the baby, this is that moment when the baby leapt up out of nowhere, and scared mom.
Oh, that's so cute.
And, this is the moment that changed everything for me, because of the fact that I could so identify with it.
Yes.
I
Yes.
remember me doing this to my parents.
Yes.
I'd hide behind a wall and go, boo, and
Yep.
my son did it to me. And to me, I think what's really important is these are the kind of connections that make us care. And they make us care about animals and their environment, and we want to protect them.
Yeah.
So this was that photo that forever changed me and made it like just changed everything that I wanted to do.
Yes. This is your first trip to Africa. This photo.
This was the second.
Second. Okay. Okay. But still,
Like,
it's so fun. I love it. I just love the way you edit it as well. Like the light on each of them is so pretty. So pretty.
and
So
Go ahead. Go
I was
ahead.
just going to say, for people who are listening, we have a leopard cub jumping out of foliage, and the mama is jumping back, and it's like they're almost in like a circle, a loop. It's just gorgeous. So pretty. What were you going to say, Mary?
I don't even know.
We've just got too much to talk about. Who knows? Who knows? So as you're traveling, like I have the same thing, national parks, and like I would make lists of all the animals, and I had my little cameras, but I was like taking kids on hikes and like making my list of animals and asking people like, wait, what lens is that? And like, when did you get that? How long did it take for you to get that? Just kind of like planning it out in my mind. But also I think like you were saying, all these things kind of add up, and they give us a foundation to who we're becoming and the passions that are coming. So even that degree that you have, your master's degree in the scenic costume design for theater, that
Yes.
that artist's eye has been with you probably since childhood. How do you see that affecting your photography?
Well, I mean, I absolutely do. And the more I think about it, it's with, being a designer, going into school and being a designer,
Mm-hmm.
you're creating environments, you're visually storytelling, and
Yeah.
you read a script or a play, and you work with the director and the other designers, and you come up with a concept, an idea, and you figure out how to implement it with
Yeah.
color and texture and light and composition and mood. And you try to figure out, how to shape that experience.
Yeah.
And so I realize that that completely translates when I'm talking about animals. Like, I don't
Absolutely.
just see animals. I I see their environment, I see their story, I
Yeah.
see their mood. And so for me, it does seem like an odd transition, but in my mind it makes complete sense.
I know. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. My husband's like, Jen, people think you go on vacation and take cute photos of animals. Like they don't understand. And I'm like, vacation? What? Like, this is an art. We've talked about this a lot on this podcast, like how it's just not seen as an art, and it really
No,
is.
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the photograph is technical, but there's definitely some art you can add into it. But my personal take is the editing. And,
Yeah.
like you were talking
Yeah.
about the editing helps tell the story,
Yes. I
and
agree.
what you're accentuating and what you're not accentuating and what you've cropped out to help tell the
Hmm.
story.
What's in the
So
frame? Right.
I truly feel like the editing is the art part.
I
I
agree.
always say, like, I'm like the photograph is the science and the editing is the
Yeah,
art.
I love it. I love bringing a mood out or the light. I just love doing that. And I know there's great debate within photography about editing and how much to edit and all that. And there's a whole spectrum, but I feel the same way. Like if I didn't have that part, that's where the artist comes in for me. It's like, oh, I see it this way. It was this way in the field. And how do I convey that to my viewer? How do I show what I feel and what it felt like there?
Yes,
How do I showcase these
absolutely.
animals in the best way I can, to tell their story?
And I do feel like if I'm not doing a lot of the contests require you to be very
Yes.
minimal in your editing. And so
Yes.
I can't be, but I definitely think I'm much more heavy-handed in my editing because I want people to feel what I
Yeah.
felt there.
Yeah.
Not just see a photo, not just, a snapshot of what
Right.
was
Right.
captured, not an iPhone shot. Like, I want people to feel that emotion of, a mom and her cub,
Yeah.
or, this glamorous male lion, or, whatever it is. I want
Yeah.
people to feel that emotion.
Yeah. I
And so I think
agree.
the editing pushes it in that direction for sure.
Yes, I know. I know. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It can still be pretty minimal, but I
Oh,
still
yeah.
love bringing it home and seeing what I can bring out.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes you need, sometimes taking out distractions really help tell the story. Like, does it really need, the giant piece of grass across the face? Like, is it telling the story or not?
That story is that grass is in the way.
And then it becomes a story about the grass and not really about, your subject.
Yes, yes. Well, so what camera did you start with? Do you remember?
I don't. I'm sure my husband can chime in here. Um, uh,
Well, what
I
do you
want to say
shoot now?
I want to say it's like a Nikon D70. I
Okay,
want to say it
okay.
was my first
They're gonna
camera.
chime in probably.
And
But now you
I
shoot a Nikon Z9, right?
I have a Nikon Z9 and I have a Nikon Z8.
Patrick says yes. You
I
got
was
it. You
right.
got it.
I was right. Uh, so yes, the Nikon. So I usually bring one camera that's like my main camera, and I
Mhm.
always bring a backup because
Yes.
I have gone in the river with a camera. I have last summer, after on a 30-day trip on day 28, my camera stopped autofocusing.
No.
My Z9. I was
Oh
like, oh,
no. Oh
so that was very
no.
difficult. Yeah, we sent it in, it's repaired, it's all
Yes,
good.
yes, yes.
But yes, I think, I know there's always controversy, Nikon, Sony, Canon. I think once you're so invested, it's really like, unless you're just made of money, it's really hard to,
Yeah,
to change. And
absolutely.
every couple of years, they all excel and they
I
get
know.
better and better.
Yeah, they're all
So,
so good. They're all so good. Yeah. And at this point, I have the muscle memory. And so that just scares me to have to learn something totally different. I do portrait
oh,
photography as well. So I have to be quick. I can't be like, just a minute. I have to keep it going. And same with wildlife photography. We have to be very quick. Like you have to be ready. But it's just that
right,
muscle memory and the money. The money is crazy. But so the
right.
favorite lenses, let's say you're in Africa, what are your favorite lenses?
Okay, so I usually use three lenses. I bring
Okay.
three.
Okay.
I have the 400 2.8
Hmm.
with the built-in teleconverter,
Yes.
which is the most beautiful lens in the whole
That's the
world.
thing I'm jealous of in Nikon for sure. The built-in
Yeah.
converter.
And then and it's also 2.8, so you can use
Yes.
it in low light. And because those cats in the morning,
Right.
you
Yep.
have the cats in the morning and at dusk when they're the most active, and you have to have um, that low aperture,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is my go-to lens. Plus the
Yeah.
backgrounds are so
So
beautiful.
buttery.
Ugh. And then I have a 70 to 200,
Hmm.
which I usually have on the Z8.
Hmm.
So the Z9 has my 400 and the Z8 has my 70 to 200 because it's just flexible and it also has the 2.8.
I
So
was
I
gonna
can
say
do the
the
low
low light.
light
Yep.
and I can get more environmental shots with that, which I
Yep.
really like. And then I love the wide angle 14 to 30, which I use, I hang out of the vehicle, like the door open, taking
Hmm.
photos of elephant silhouettes with giant skies is like
I love
my
it.
favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
So I love that wide angle for that. And I don't use it, the whole time, but you
Yeah.
need it for just those special moments. And that's the
Yeah,
lens you
you have
need.
beautiful images like that. Beautiful. The giraffe image you just shared a few days ago, maybe it's been last week with the five giraffe and then the one set off in the back and it was black and white, I think. I
Yes.
loved that image. Was that a 14 to 30 or what was that? That was a gorgeous.
No, that was probably the 24 to 70 or
Yeah. Okay.
the
The
70
70
to
to
200.
200. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That was gorgeous.
Yes. And that was a remarkable moment in the rain.
Oh, cool.
Oftentimes we plan trips a year and a half in advance, and you never know what you're going to experience.
Yeah.
And you just have to go with it.
Yeah.
And I remember we went there during the dry season, and of course, it was just torrential rain the whole time. But they'd had a drought for 3 years. So the rain was this incredible blessing. And we
Hmm.
got stuck every day and we had to be towed. And, we were putting, branches underneath, the tires so we could continue on. But it
Hmm.
was all worth it because
Yeah.
there was rainbows and stormy
Oh, I
skies
love
and
that.
fascinating behavior I'd never seen before just
Hmm.
because of the rain.
Hmm.
You have
Hmm.
cats shaking their heads,
Oh,
and I love it. It was, you just embrace the rainy season. If that's what it
that's right.
is,
That's right.
it's awesome.
That's right. That's how I was telling you before we got on. Alaska was like that this last year. And it was like, just embrace it. This is what we have. This is what we're doing. And we're going to find these animals and just have joy. Just have joy in it and whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen. And like you said, see the unique behaviors and get the, crunchy, rainy fur and all that. So it's like, that's great. It's
Big
great. Well,
raindrops.
yes, all those droplets. Well, I mean, as people can tell, you're absolutely in love with Africa, and your images absolutely show that. They are stunning. And you said, when I'm not there, I'm already wanting to be back. It's where I feel most grounded and most alive as a photographer. And I think many of us can relate. We all have those places where we just feel alive. So tell me a little bit about your travels in Africa. And if you could describe to us, just what is it that draws you back? Can you describe that in a few words? Like, what is that? Everyone says this, so I'm sure it's hard.
It is hard. And the way I mean, it keeps calling me back. I don't,
Oh, I
and
love that.
it fills my soul when I'm there.
Mhm,
I feel
mhm,
whole. I
mhm,
feel, oftentimes, especially the places we go, are usually in the Rift Valley, which is the beginning of civilization. And I don't know if that's what's calling me, but it pulls me in.
mhm.
And I know my husband feels the same way. And it's it's a longing when we're not even there to be back there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm always trying to plan my next trip before the last trip is over. So there's not the disappointment that
That's
can
right.
happen.
I totally understand that. Yes, because you have something that's even because whenever a trip is ending, there is something like you start counting the days. And then I'm like, stop counting, but I'm counting. But if you have that next one to look forward to, it's like, but I know I'm coming back home. That's what
Right.
it feels like. Yeah.
Right. And we oftentimes go to some of the same places every year, and then
Mm-hmm.
we often go to new places.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so once in a while you have to try some different places, but
Yeah.
there's places, and also the people. Like you get connected to the people, and you just
Mm-hmm.
want to spend time with them again.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you've texted every week for a year, but you still
Yeah.
want to go back and see them in person and connect
Yeah.
with them.
That's
You
so
know, so
wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful. And I know that there is just such an abundance of wildlife, and everyone tells me, Jen, when you go, you're gonna die because it's like you're shooting all day. Like there's always something, you're not waiting around. But if
no.
you had to pick a favorite, like do you have a favorite? What do you love the most to photograph?
Well, it's absolutely elephants, hands down,
That's
hands
what I
down
keep saying.
elephants.
I want to go for the elephant. I want to go for elephants. I want to go for baby elephants.
Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, I mean, elephants are so incredibly intelligent, and
Yes.
their family structure, everything about them is it's fascinating to watch. Uh, I love
I'll
this
just
photo.
put this here while you're
Uh,
talking.
and they're so interesting. And baby elephants have this bravado that is just so out of character. The parents are just gently eating, and these little elephants come up, and their ears are flaring, and they're taking their trunk out, and they're sniffing you, and they're making grumbly noises, and you you just can't help but laugh. They're just because the moms and the aunties, they don't care at all.
Yeah, yeah.
They, and the babies just, it's like they're inquisitive and interesting and playful. And every time I learn more about them,
Mhm.
I can't get enough.
I know. I know that's how I feel too. It's just like the wisdom and the gentleness. It just and the story inside them, like the ancient stories they carry. It's like so amazing to me.
Oh my gosh, if I ever could come back, I'd want to come back as an elephant and just be cradled with that trunk and touched and loved
Oh, it's
and
so
adored as a
sweet.
baby.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, tell us about this image, these two trunks coming out of the water.
Okay, so this is one of my favorites. And first of all, I had no idea that elephants could swim. I don't know why I never knew that, but I didn't. We were this was in the Chobe River in Botswana,
Mhm.
and they often are crossing from one country to another. At this point, they're crossing from Botswana to Namibia,
Mhm.
and it's fascinating. And so when it gets deep, they use their trunks as periscopes, and the little ones are propped up. And so I love this because there's a sense of mystery and a sense of story in, you have to take a minute to say what's happening. And then you kind of realize what's happening and you're like, are those elephant trunks? And what are they doing? And then they're swimming. And there's just that sense of mystery. And you start thinking about what that story could be. Mm-hmm. And I also love that element. And, the more stories that I can tell like this, the better.
Yes. Yes. Well, how do you know what to include? Like, what are you looking for? Do you have things you're thinking about, or things that like spark your interest that you're like, I want to tell this story in this image in this one single frame?
I like simpleness. I recognize that. I don't like busy things. Mm-hmm. I like simple, like one color. I've noticed. I kind of, my style has developed, and I've actually had to look back recently and kind of assess what attracts me to my own work or what I'm looking for when I do things. Mm-hmm. And so I think the simplicity, like I don't like a lot of other elements. And so that, for that, I'm like, it's very simple. It's one color. And I'm also, I love the baby animals. I love the baby cats, the baby leopards, baby lions, baby elephants, because there's an interaction. There's always an interaction, and they're always interacting with mom. There's something happening.
Yeah.
I often, a lion walking or, isn't as exciting. And I'll be honest, I'm not so much into the kills. It's not my thing.
I know.
I'm like, the stories of family are the things that fill my heart.
Yes.
And those are what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And
that
so
it's connection. Yeah.
Yes. It's definitely what attracts me to photos.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. I know there was just a bison kill with wolves in Yellowstone a couple weeks ago. And I just don't know that I could have stayed the whole time. Like I didn't get to go this year, but just watching the footage coming out, I just don't know that that's like something I think I would be crying. So, I don't know. It's not the story I want to tell. I know it's a part of life, but I'm like you. I really like the simple and like the connection and the gesture and things like that. It's just,
and it doesn't mean that, we witnessed these lions chase hyenas, and, it was dramatic and you didn't know where to look, and it was powerful. And it was fascinating to watch on one hand. There were certain parts that were probably too much for me. But, and I totally get the cycle of life and all of that and the power structure. But I'll be honest, like people don't want to kill on their wall.
Right, that's true.
So, if I'm photographing, and I'll be honest, most contests don't usually pick kills. Yeah. Because, when they're sending it out for press, it's just not. So
you don't want to send a warning with it. Graphic warning.
And so it's just, it doesn't appeal to me for my actual photography. Like to experience it and witness it is fascinating. Just, it's not something I necessarily enjoy photographing.
Yeah. Well, let's show your lion cub. Speaking of parents and baby animals, let's share that beautiful image. The light on this one is so beautiful. That eye, oh my goodness. Look at that.
I had been dreaming of this photo for so long. And it was my first time actually witnessing the lioness picking her cub up and moving it. Mm-hmm. And it was, of course, in this golden light right at the end of day. And this was actually at a kill.
Oh, interesting.
But, I was choosing to photograph this.
Right. The interactions, not the eating.
Right. And I think that this was one of the first times that she had introduced her cubs to the rest of the pride because of the kill. Mm-hmm. And so the light was beautiful. She's carrying this, but I have to tell you the background of this cub. This was like the naughty cub. So this cub would like run off into the bushes, which had hyenas waiting, because they're waiting for the lions to finish. so that they can come and feast.
Mm-hmm.
And, this would be a perfect prey in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
And the little one kept running off, and mom would go back, pick the cub up, bring it back. And then each time she'd stay longer hovering over it, just like, you're not going to get up. You are not going to get up.
You're like, I
You're
remember
not going to
these
get up.
days.
Right. And then the first thing the cub does, as soon as she lifts her head, runs back off. And we saw the cub a couple days later, and all of her cubs had these little teeth marks in their neck. It looked like she was very busy.
I was going to say, busy mama, busy mama.
Yeah.
Look at that eye. I mean, it's so gorgeous. The catchlight in the eye and the cub's face, and just seeing the paws and the whiskers. It's gorgeous. And, an image like this really has an impact on your viewer, So like when you're taking a photo like this, are you thinking like how you want to impact the viewer, or do you have that as an overall philosophy?
I think it's what touches me.
Yeah.
It's what tugs at my heart.
Yeah.
And what makes my heart sing, or, and feel and have some sort of emotion. And because I also feel like when I'm making it for me, then hopefully others might see the same beauty or the same joy or story that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest lesson for me, is that when I make things for me that appeal to me, that oftentimes other people are attracted to it as well.
That's right. When they can feel your feelings in it, your joy in it, your connection to it, it comes through. That's right.
Yeah. And I mean, and as a mom, I was like, I feel that. And I hope that other moms are like, oh yeah.
And ultimately, when people are connected to your images, like this gorilla image that we're going to show in a little bit, that's been all over the world recently, then that in turn makes your viewer care and hopefully pays it forward, and maybe wants to do something little in their local nature area, or save or send some money to something, you just never know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, ultimately that's what I want, is I want people to care, because then the idea is to protect these incredible environments.
That's right.
And because we're losing these environments, every day there's, populations are growing, and, other things keep happening, that we're losing our wildlife areas.
That's right.
But when we see things that we love and that connect us, we fight for them, and we fight harder. That's because they mean something.
That's right. Yes, for sure. We need it now more than ever. So this is your award-winning image. It is the gorilla and the butterfly. It got gold. It won the animal portrait for World Nature Photography Awards. I think you said you were the only woman to win a category.
That was in Nature Photographer of the Year.
Nature Photography. Okay. I know. I was like, which one is it? But even that is just so amazing. But for this one, this is the one that's been all over in the last few weeks. And tell us a little bit about this image. This is in Uganda?
Yes.
Okay.
So first, yes, let me, we were in Uganda in Bwindi National Forest, and we were following this gorilla family, and there was a silverback. Well, first of all, at that moment, I had my iPhone and I was videoing, and this butterfly lands on the silverback's nose, and I was like, and I've learned over time that once you're in video, follow through the story. If you're in the camera, follow through the story.
That's a hard lesson to learn.
It is, because if you try to switch midway, you lose both every time.
That's
every time. So I'm sticking with the video, and in my head, I'm like, okay, just finish this moment. Moment ends. I put my camera, my iPhone away, and I bring out my camera, and hoping that the behavior repeats, because I mean, things repeat all the time in nature. So why not? Yeah. The butterfly did come back, but it did not come back to the silverback, but it came out to the female. And I'm watching this orange butterfly fly around, and I was like, please just get near the face, just get near the face, get near the face. and it happened.
Oh, that's
So
crazy.
yes, obviously it was luck in many ways. I knew what I wanted though, and it
Right.
did happen. I mean, I still wanted that butterfly on the silverback's nose. I mean, that would have been tremendous.
Yes, yes.
Um, and so the other thing about this photo though is that this was incredibly special for me. So this is not a monarch, but the orange color is reminiscent of monarchs here in North America.
Mhm.
And I spent years creating California waterwise backyard that could attract with flowers and plants to attract the monarch, and which is becoming endangered, and hummingbirds. And
Mhm.
so seeing this photo, and all butterflies to me, every time I see a butterfly, I just go, I just can't help it. Like there's an excitement about it. It's the same thing when you see a whale or a dolphin, and the whole boat erupts, and
Yes,
you're like, oh my gosh, I just saw,
yes.
and you can't help that excitement and passion. So for me, I thought it was a special photo for me. I honestly didn't think anything of it at all. But obviously it changed my world. And last April through June, I submitted a bunch of photos to several contests. And
Mhm.
honestly, I didn't think anything of it. I
Yeah.
I don't even look or know what day they're going to appear and say, I put it out to the universe, and if it works, it works.
Yep.
And I remember the first one was Africa Geo came back, and I was like the spot of the week, and I was like, okay, cool. And then it ended up being in the top three, and the top three ends up being winning a trip to the Congo.
Oh my gosh,
I was
that's
like,
amazing.
okay.
Wow.
And so
Yeah, yeah.
that was really cool. So in September, Patrick and I went to the Congo. And then in early September, or probably in July, I was shortlisted for Nature Photographer of the Year,
Mhm, mhm,
but I'd been shortlisted the year before and got nothing. So I didn't think anything of it.
mhm.
And then I received notice that I was in the top five. And I was like, wow, come to Amsterdam. I was like, okay. I was like, even if
Oh my
it
goodness,
wasn't even about,
Mary.
it wasn't even about winning to me. To me, I was like, I get to go and hang out with my idols. I get to go and
Yeah,
hang out,
yeah.
and be with cool photographers that I've only dreamt of meeting, or I've watched videos online or something.
Right.
And so that was spectacular. And um, I was in the top five. This is the one that I was the only female to win the category.
Okay, yes. Okay.
And I think there was 13 categories, and this was animal portraits. And I honestly, like, I was there and I was looking at the competition. I prepared nothing, and it showed. And and you have to get up and speak on stage in front of all of these people.
Yeah, yeah.
I had There was no way I was going to win, and I prepared absolutely nothing, and I blubbered my way through. And my husband and son,
Oh.
I can't even look at it. It was that bad. But I look back and I'm like, at least it was truly authentic, and maybe
Yeah,
there's
that's
some
right.
charm in its
Right.
authenticity that I truly was, you know,
Right.
flabbergasted by it.
Right.
And I also met so many cool people, and I think it opened so many doors.
Yeah.
And then that was posted quite a bit in Forbes and the Atlantic and some different papers, and a lot of people found me that way, and that opened many doors.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 weeks ago, I was asked for the raw photo for the World Nature
Yes.
Photography Award.
Yes. Yes. That's when I got confused. Okay. Yes.
Right. And so this now it's like this triple award winning photo. And,
That's so cool.
right. But I had never expected it. And because I think I had submitted last like June, I really, I kind of, put it out of my head and didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
But this one has incredible press. I mean, like CNN
I
and
know.
I
I'm
mean,
on the treadmill and there you are.
Well, and there was a Chinese newspaper, and my son speaks Mandarin, and I sent it to him, and I was like, "Hey, what does this one say?"
Oh, that's so cool. I think you were like on people.com or something. I was looking through, it was like people.com. I'm like, what in the world?
How cool.
I know. I know. It's very cool. So
So yes, and
triple
then
award winning. That is
yes,
amazing.
but I also have to say is that, and because I think I won these awards, that it's opened so many doors recently,
Hmm.
and I couldn't be more grateful to this photo now. It's become,
Mm-hmm.
probably my emblem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And your sweater matches. Well, I mean,
I didn't mean that.
like you were saying, is like, well, now you're ready. You know what I mean? You said, I have the depth, I have the wisdom, I'm ready for this. And all that foundation of everything that you've been doing with the 365 and the documentary work, the film, the pictures you were doing with that. And it's all a foundation and meets with your passion and your talents and your heart into now. So it's going to be so exciting to see what the next few years hold, what the next 10 years, 20 years hold for you. It's going to be amazing.
I hope so. I mean, and I just keep learning and I keep
Yeah,
growing, and
right.
that's super exciting.
I know. I love that you said that in some of our pre-interview stuff. Like that you never want to stop learning. And I love that because sometimes, it can feel like people are like, oh no, I've arrived and I don't need to learn anymore. But with art and with photography, I consider it art and creativity. There's always something to learn. There's always, people, animal behavior to learn. There's artistic things to learn, technical things to learn. So I love that you said that there's always time to learn, and giving credit to camera clubs and other photographers that have helped you.
Oh, oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
so I could even go back to my grad school training.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of
Former
time on the art of creativity and how to get out of funks and
Yeah.
how to push yourself when you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And, I think all of us in the photography world feel that way sometimes. Is it, you go through a phase and you're like, oh, my work, it's
Mm-hmm.
bland, it's
Mm-hmm.
boring, I want something different. And, instead of getting frustrated with it, I think because of all this training in grad school was I see it as an opportunity. Like
That's
I
right.
know that this is that moment where I'm about to grow and I want to try and experiment
Yes.
and do new things. And I it happens a lot, but instead of looking down on it, I kind of get excited when I get in this funk.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a really good reminder. Very good reminder. Because so many of us do get in a creative funk, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's important to talk about it so that we can get out of it. And the other thing is that one of the ways that I do get out of it is looking at other genres,
Oh, yeah. I
abstract
remember you saying that. And I
photography.
wanted to hear more about that. That really interests me. I love that.
So like anything that I can find online, absolutely anything. I soak it up.
Yeah.
If it's abstract, if it's people, if it's landscape, if it's architecture. I mean, and especially things out of your genre, I
Mm.
feel that it helps expand your thought process,
Yeah.
and it there's always some glimmer of something somewhere to glean.
Yeah.
There's a lesson somewhere and you're like, what if I did this? And or it plants a seed somewhere so that the next time you're out there, you're like, oh, I want to try that. I want to try some intentional camera movement. I want to try
Yeah.
some slower shutter speed. Oh, maybe I want to go more abstract. What would that look like?
That's so cool.
Or
Yeah.
more environmental with a landscape, and that has an animal in it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have been reading The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, and one of the
ooh,
little chapters he talks about, sometimes we're just scrolling and filling our minds with, you know, not very artistic things, but he says to calibrate our internal meter for greatness and to like start
ooh.
doing what you're doing. So calibrate our internal meter for greatness. I have it here on a post-it note because I'm like, that is such a good reminder, and I have the book right here. It's The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. So I was like, oh my goodness, exactly what you're saying. Like, take an art book off your shelf and look through it and fill our mind with those, put that all inside so that it then comes out in our creative process. It's such a good reminder to get off our social media. I mean, I'm still working at it, or to get off the
Well,
TV or whatever, whatever we're wasting our time
yeah,
with, but like to fill our internal meter for greatness. I was like, oh my gosh, I just loved that phrase. It was like
I do
calibrating your
too.
mind in a different way. Yeah. My brother's
I love that.
has a master's in art history. So, to go to museums with him and stuff, and just to hear the way he talks about paintings and new artists and things like that, I'm like, why am I not calibrating my brain towards this these things? Because it does totally speak into our creative process.
Absolutely. And looking at paintings and color
Mhm.
grading and ways some of
Yes.
the masters used color, you can do the same thing with photography. And I feel like some of the best photography has that color grading embedded in it,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
just, yeah, I absolutely agree. I
It's
love
so
museums.
I know. I need to go. I need to go to more. I don't have that many in West Lafayette, Indiana. But I need to make an effort at least to pick up my art books and like look, you
You need
know.
to take your brother with you.
I know. I need to go to he lives in New York. I need to go to New York. I need a trip to New York. So I know that we talked together, just messaged a little bit. I've had the same situations, but we'll just touch on this a little bit, just some of the hurt we've had in the field and like ways that we can change that a little bit. But I before we got on, we were talking about just sharing women's stories, and this podcast is about both women and men, and my mentor is a man, or so it's not like we hate men.
No, no,
No,
absolutely not.
absolutely not. I have tons of great male friends and photographers and photography people that I admire. So, but there is sometimes a bias in the field. So can you tell me a little bit about that and what you've experienced?
Yes. I mean, I would say that yes. So I definitely, so for a couple years, my husband and I would sit side by side in a vehicle or Alaska or wherever. We had the same exact camera,
Yeah.
the same exact lens, and everybody would automatically approach my husband
Hmm.
and say, "Oh, what are you shooting?" Or, what are you looking at? And, I kind of felt invisible. And my
Yeah.
husband would just embrace the moment and he was just unaware. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's what I want to talk about is people maybe not being aware
Yeah.
of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I pointed it out to my husband after a couple of years, and maybe it wasn't that long, but
I was gonna say, wow, that's a long
um,
time.
and he was like, ah, and I was like, oh, just watch. And, it was either that afternoon or the next morning. He was like, wow, you're right.
Hmm.
And because of that, he has absolutely become my biggest advocate and ally. And he's changed the dialogue about how it's approached because it happens every day, every
Yeah.
single day we're out. And people come up to him and he's like, I'm not the photographer. She's the photographer.
I
I
love
carry
that.
her gear. And
I love that.
and my husband
Good
is an
job,
amazing
Patrick.
photographer in his own right. And for him to,
Mhm.
give up that moment and make sure that people are aware that I am also a photographer,
Yeah.
I couldn't ask for more.
Yeah.
And I posted on Instagram because I got fed up the other day, and we were at camp and there was somebody who was approaching my husband, and my husband had the same dialogue, and he still completely dismissed me, which was really hard. And
Mhm.
then at the same time, later on that afternoon, somebody else walks up to me and was like, "Oh, did your husband get good photos?" And
Oh dear.
it was so awkward.
Mhm.
And I don't think people are trying to be mean. I don't think, I just don't think people are aware what's happening. And I just would love for all of us to try to be allies for each other
Yeah,
and elevate the fact that women are photographers and that, we can be celebrated as well. And,
that's right.
it's interesting when I posted that on Instagram, I would say I got at least 80 women said, this has happened to me too. And
Oh
not
my
just in
goodness,
photography.
80. Oh my goodness. That's a lot. That's a lot of responses to once. It was just an Instagram story, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's a lot.
And so many women identified with it. There was two women who didn't.
Of
It's
course.
like, I want to be in your universe,
Right,
but
right,
maybe
right,
they have some magic sauce.
right.
Um, and there was a couple husbands who were also allies,
I
which
love that.
I
That's what my husband is too. I told you that. My husband is the same exact way as yours. He will be like, "Oh no, I'm the assistant. She's the photographer." And that's just like, "Oh, that makes me
it
feel
does.
so good." And I think that's all it takes really is for our friends and colleagues and our partners to just be like, "Oh no, she's the artist. She's the photographer." That's all it takes. It really does, like, just keep us right there with you. That's all it takes,
Yeah,
really.
yeah,
It's not that hard.
yeah.
Just notice
No,
it. Like you said, it took a
right.
little bit that once you just like, "Oh, this is happening. Oh goodness. Yeah.
Yeah,
How do I speak up? How do I give attention
absolutely.
to the other?"
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
so
I
good.
also think that we as women can also lift each other up as
That's
well.
right. Absolutely.
And, and it's just bringing awareness,
Yeah. And it's
I,
the same thing like the abundance. There's a room for everyone. There's room for
oh,
everyone. There's
absolutely.
no need to, exclude people or try to put anyone else down. There's room, there's enough animals, there's enough landscapes, there's enough beautiful places. So just reaching out and like supporting one another. It's the abundance mindset. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
important.
But
Well,
we do need awareness.
we do. We do. And I probably will have people that comment, and that's fine. If you want to comment, that's totally fine. But there's so many people that also feel the way that we feel. So it's worth talking about. It's worth talking about.
And
So,
I'm grateful that you allowed me to talk about it. And that
yeah,
was how you reached out to me one of the times. So I think that I'm
I
very
know. As soon
grateful.
as I saw that in your story, I was like, Mary, you're going to be on the podcast. She's not going to say no. I need her on here because you don't know how many people that I've said that I'm having you on or that I talked about your work in our 3-month cohort that Siler Peralta Ramos and I are teaching. I talked about your work this last week, that giraffe photo. And so I know I was like, we were teaching something. I'm like, oh, Mary's image, your image popped into my mind. And I've heard so many people say, oh, she's so good. It's stunning. Like, and that I think you're getting what's due right now. Like you deserve what's happening. So, but
Thank you.
I had one of your guides reach out to me and ask like, and so he was saying how stunning your work was too, and asked if you remembered who you were with when you got this image.
Oh, of course. I, John Kuiper
Yes.
is just he's fantastic. I mean, he's a fantastic person
Yes.
and an incredible guide. And you know, well, first of all, let me talk about the photo, and then I would love to talk about guides.
Yes.
Uh, so this photo is so special to me. One of my secrets is to go to Katmai in September. Everyone goes in July and there's so many bears and you get the fishing bears on the lip and you get all that. You won't get that in September, but you get the most beautiful colors and light that I have ever seen
Oh, I mean, look
anywhere.
at this is amazing.
I just, and so this moment we were looking down the river and, the backlight, and this was probably 10 a.m. I
Oh
mean,
my
it
goodness.
was wild. And there's always seagulls looking for scraps from the bears,
Mm-hmm.
and it was that moment that just kind of awes you,
Yeah.
and that's what you're always looking for. At least I'm always. I mean, we all are.
Yes.
Uh, we're looking for those types of moments. But I say this over and over again: is that we are only as good as our guides. It is so important to me to have good guides
Mm-hmm.
and local guides that know their area, that know their animals, that know the stories of their animals, that know the behavior. So they know, sometimes you're on the ground with them, sometimes you're in a vehicle, but they know the behavior and what's normal. And, this bear is calm. This bear, hasn't had a lot of food lately and she's really skinny and she's scared. And, let's not get too close. Or, there's Chunk, we should run away.
Chunk.
Oh yeah. We did with John, we did run into Chunk.
That's John's favorite bear, yes.
Oh, I know. And Chunk was tormenting all the moms. And we're trying to hide behind trees and bears, and it was kind of wild. But I mean, everywhere I go, I can't stress enough about the importance of guides. They have they make or break a trip.
Yeah,
I mean, in every respect. For me, and also really good guides know light, they know photography, they know where to position. I just, it's all about the guides.
And
like, I feel like
first, and they put you first, not their work first.
Absolutely. I mean, when John was with us, like, he's not even photographing, he's making sure we're safe. He's looking 360 so that we can photograph, and plus my husband had some surgery, and to get into Katmai is a feat in itself, to get into the lottery system and staying there. And he had to have surgery. And I said, you're coming because it's in your name. So I don't care if you sit in the lodge all day, you have to come. And he did stay in, and John was like, no, we're going to get him out. Like, we're going to figure out how to get him out and come, hang out. So
that's amazing.
And he did, and it was wonderful, and we got to spend time with him and Tiffany.
Yes, they are great. They are so great. And when you posted this image, I was just breath taken away. It's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. The backlight and the glow and the droplets and that bear's face, the eye, it's so beautiful. When you posted that on Instagram, I was just like, it's just magic. It's magic.
I have a canvas of this in my house.
Oh, good. You need to. Yes. Well, if you have questions for Mary, go ahead and put them in the Q&A, and we'll ask her some questions about that. I feel like we could talk for hours. There's just so much to talk about. I just love your work so much. But let's do the speed round, and then we'll let people also ask questions if they have questions. But some of these aren't so speedy, and that's totally fine. And my light is really bad tonight. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. My light.
No, and
I keep tugging on my light.
Do you mind if I go and like turn on the rest of the light in my house?
If you want to, you can. Keep talking. You're fine. Your light looks good. And we had a cat, but the cat is gone as well. Where was someone was asking where was, it looks good. Someone was asking, where was the leopard photo taken?
The leopard photo was in the Savisans in Londalazi in South Africa.
Okay. I'm trying to see.
Which is the place to go for leopards.
Okay, everybody hear that. That's a good tip. Very good tip. So what's in your camera bag that you can't do without?
Okay. So I came with props.
Okay, good. Good.
My theater. So two things. I hope you don't mind if there's two.
Oh, no, it's totally fine.
Okay. So one is the microfiber beach towel.
Oh, interesting.
So for Africa, this saves me. So oftentimes it's really dusty.
Yes.
And you really want to be able to access your camera super quickly.
Yeah.
And so I just throw it over my camera, and it's, quick to fly off. Sometimes we're allowed to get on the ground if it's like giraffes or just antelope type creatures. And so I can lay it down, and, I'm not getting dirt on me.
Yeah.
And I find that it is so great to get some raindrops off.
That's what I was thinking. It'd be
so
great.
I use it for everything. It is, it dries quickly. It's dust. It's my go-to.
Yes.
So
that's good. And it's a total, like, it's a beach towel, microfiber beach towel.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And,
okay.
It was on Amazon, there's a couple different patterns.
Yeah, that's good. I thought you would say something about dust, but that's a good, no one has ever said that. They've said like scarf or something, but that's multi-purpose and big. And I would have loved to have had that in Alaska this last summer.
Right. And
Yeah.
I'll definitely be taking it. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't imagine life without it.
Yeah. Plus you can wrap things in it if you need to that in for packing. Yeah.
Yes, I sometimes in a vehicle we'll have a bag and
Yeah.
with extra batteries and stuff, and we kind of put it on the bottom sometimes so that
Yeah.
when it's bouncing up and down, it
That's a
has
good
some
idea
cushion.
too. Yep. Yep. And what's your other thing?
Okay, and this is my new find. Uh, so I oftentimes, going back to my gorilla story,
Mm-hmm.
I want to video while I'm also using my camera, and
Yes.
I get frustrated because I can't do both at the same time.
Yeah.
And this goes in the shoe of your camera.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just the magnetic.
Oh, yes. Yes. I want this. Yes.
And so I have the ability to, just stick it on there, press play, and I can shoot away. And I get both.
Yeah.
I
That's
no
awesome.
more, gorillas with a butterfly on their nose. I won't miss that anymore.
That's right. I tried to put a magnet on mine, and it must be a certain kind of phone case you need, or my phone case would prevented it. So I just need to figure that out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I used to have the one that pulled apart, and
Okay.
it was
Yeah, I have
difficult.
that. Yeah.
This is not difficult. This is
Yeah,
very
I need to
easy and
get
quick.
that. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Yeah. So what's something you bought that you don't use that
I
you
bought
thought
a
maybe?
microphone. I bought a microphone for the shoe of my camera.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want to record roaring lions
Yeah.
and the sounds of, birds and nature and safari, but I never pull it out. I wanted to, and it's never the right time. But I
Yeah.
drag it everywhere, annoyingly.
Well, okay, let's see. She says, this is Jennifer from Canada. Congrats on your
Yes.
recent wins. What animal is next? Are there any you haven't photographed that you want to? That's a great question. Two great questions.
Uh, so I really want to go photograph orangutans
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in Borneo. We were supposed to go during it was well, and then COVID happened.
Yes,
We
yes.
had our leech socks. We were all ready. We were
My goodness.
prepared.
Okay, that's the first time that's been mentioned on the podcast. I'm like,
I
what?
had. I guess you need leech socks. I mean,
Interesting.
I don't want leeches picking
No,
on me.
no,
I'll be
no.
honest.
Yeah, that'd be
But
another good tip.
but I really want to photograph orangutans in the wild.
Yes.
And so, I'm that's something that might happen. My son is moving to Indonesia, it sounds like, for the next 2 years.
Yes.
So hopefully we might have some opportunities to go and see those orangutans.
That would be fun.
I mean, there's plenty of other
we'll be
animals, but
watching.
that's probably the top of my list.
That's so cool. Yeah, we'll be watching for that. Okay, so do you have a favorite snack while editing or driving around?
Okay, so when we travel, I never eat them at home, but when we're traveling, I love Mentos. Fruity Mentos. I don't know why. And
Funny.
it's bizarre, and not at home. When I'm at home, I would definitely say so. I'm from San Diego, and when we're gone, I miss Mexican food. So I really like tortilla chips.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got to have some my good tortilla chips. But recently, I'm on a Jolly Rancher kick.
Interesting. It is really interesting to hear people's candy choices. It's very
And I'm surprised I didn't come on with a giant blue tongue today.
So this is a little more serious, but what is the best photography advice you've ever gotten?
So to photograph what you feel, what you're feeling in that moment, not just what you see.
Yeah, I love that.
And to me, everything I do is about the feeling.
Yeah.
That's my goal, is to have other people also feel.
Yeah, your work does that for sure. You're meeting that goal. And do you have anyone that inspires you? Like, do you have a photographer or artist that inspires you?
I have a little list.
Oh, I want to hear it. I love this. Yay.
So Gucharan Ropra.
Okay.
And
yes.
he's out of Canada.
Yep.
And
yes.
Paul Goldstein out of the UK. The
Yes.
two of them, I think, are doing some incredible wildlife photography that's creative, like
Yes.
really creative and interesting, and makes me want to push my boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Gabby Giard
Mm-hmm.
does
Yeah.
these black and white photos
Mm-hmm.
that take my breath away.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to just, I constantly study his work just because I think it's so beautiful,
Yes.
you know, and once in a while he likes my stuff and I'm like, oh.
Isn't it funny that we do
um,
that as adults? I have the same way, like, oh my gosh, so and so liked my picture, like my image today.
right,
It's
right.
crazy. Yeah, yeah.
And then Laura Dyer for her
Hmm.
bokeh. Oh,
Yes. She was just on. If
and
anybody wants to listen to her episode, she was just on. Yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah.
And Federico Veronesi
Yes.
is the moodiness and the mystery, and he captures things beautifully. And those are kind of my ones that I spend hours just looking at their work,
You're calibrating your internal meter.
calibrating my internal meter.
I need
I
to
love
do
that.
that too. I need to do that too. So what wildlife experience, you talked about several, but is there another one that just touched your soul and just made you feel so much inside?
Well, I know that I sent you photos because I I was able to participate in helping a female matriarch elephant with a wound, and they had a veterinarian come in, and she's going to start sharing photos here.
Yes, they're right here.
So we were. So let me backtrack just a second. So
Yeah.
in the morning on safari, you're often focusing on cats because they're most active in the morning, you know, and then after a couple hours, they're going to sleep. And I'm always like, is it time to go see the elephants now?
Right.
Because the elephants come out about midday. You don't usually see them in the morning. They're off in the hills and doing other things. But they come down for the water and stuff. And so I always midday is my elephant time. And so we were watching this elephant family, and there was some rangers nearby who were also watching her. And our guide talked to them and found out that she'd had a wound that they found a couple weeks before.
Hmm.
And that's Bernard. Bernard's in the photo, and our guide. And so they found the wound and it hadn't healed. So they decided that they needed to bring in the vet. And the vet was up in another conservancy dealing with a zebra. So it was going to be a couple hours. And our guide asked, you know, the head of the conservancy, like, hey, can we participate?
Mhm.
And I mean, which I was flabbergasted that they would even allow us, and the fact that we could witness this.
Right.
So a couple hours later, we gather all these vehicles. The vet is there. He's got a dart gun. You know, we have to isolate the matriarch from the rest of her
Right.
family.
Yeah.
And we have to get her to a clearing where she can fall and it's not in the bushes and we can easily access her.
Mhm.
And ideally, we want her to fall on the correct side
Mhm.
so that we can
My
access the
goodness, that's a lot of factors.
right. And there's all these vehicles and, you know, kind of maneuvering, trying to get in the right place, do this, and it's all very quick, and I mean the excitement level is beyond.
Yeah.
And they ended up getting to her. She ended up being on the wrong side, so they had to strap her and use a vehicle and turn her
Oh my
over.
goodness.
And you know, simultaneously, like things that you just don't even know is for her to breathe, they put a little stick, you know, in her trunk. And
Mhm.
you know, she's in such deep sleep that her snoring, it sounds like an engine. It's so loud. But anyway, I mean, we got to watch the vet work, and he cleaned out the wound. And Patrick and I were both able to participate, putting the antibiotic, injecting it into her body,
Oh my
which, you know,
goodness.
you get to go through, you know, so the thickness of an elephant. I mean, just being that close and touching an elephant, a
Yeah,
live
yeah,
elephant.
yeah.
Uh, and
Amazing.
also, and so it was spectacular to be witness that. And then, they inject the reversing. There she is.
There she is being turned over. That's
Turned
amazing.
over, which is a feat in itself.
Yes.
So we injected her with the antibiotics, and then they reversed the sedative through a vein in the ear. We all jump in the vehicle as quickly as possible because the reversal happens instantly.
Yes.
And meanwhile, her family had been watching us just beyond the bushes.
I wondered about that.
Yeah. And she very quickly got up, reunited with her family, and walked off. And so the other thing, going back to my love of elephants and matriarchs are so important because they're the ones that pass down that knowledge through generations of where to get food in the drought, where the best food is, all these places that nobody else knows. And you need them to live as long as possible to pass down that information so that the next generation and the generation after that, in case there's a problem and that drought is even more severe and they go farther and where those places are.
Yeah.
And so being part of that will always be one of my favorite experiences ever.
Oh, I can see why. That is just such a privilege to witness it, just a privilege.
It was.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I can tell just by the way you look that I can tell how special it was.
It was.
I mean, this is why we do these things, because we really do care. I mean, we're talking about art a lot, but we really do care about these animals and their families and what's going on in their environment and, keeping the wild protected and safe. Like it really, when you're doing this, like you can't help but fall in love with what these animals mean, and what they feel. It's just like, I know people think I'm kind of like a tree hugger now. But I can't help it,
I think that goes back to the leopard, and they're similar. I truly believe that we're more similar than we are different.
Yeah.
In so many ways, I mean, the cubs play similar to our own children, and family structures and all of these things. I look at bears that adopt other bears.
Yes, isn't that amazing? I think it's so good to kind of put ourselves in that thought process instead of just thinking, oh, we're dominating over these animals. Like instead think like, how are we a part of these animals and a part of creation, and how do we, steward it instead of take advantage of it,
Absolutely.
And when you're photographing these magic moments, it becomes a calling, a passion. It's something that it's hard to not think about, even in your daily life in San Diego or West Lafayette. I'm worried about the deer in my local nature area, or things like that. So,
or the Eagles and Big Bear with their second,
right. I know. I've been watching that. That's so cool. But what a privilege it is to be able to do this and just fall in love with such an amazing craft. And it's just been such a treat to talk to you. I'm so glad we finally got to talk. I've been wanting to talk to you.
Me too.
I love your work so much.
Honored.
Oh, I love your work so much. And I brag about you all the time. Like, I don't know her, but I mean, I love this. I love her images. You have to look at Mary's images. They're so good. I like texted people, have you heard of this Mary Schrader? You have to look at her work. Look at her work. It's so good. And so I'm just excited to see where you go next and what happens next. Do you have trips planned over the next year or two? I'm sure you do.
I do actually. I won another contest. So and it was 5 nights for 2 at one of my favorite camps in Kenya because of my photography. So we're leaving in 2 weeks.
Oh, how fun.
So we're going back to Kenya. And then we added a little bit more since it's a long way to go. So we tend to stay a little bit longer. So yeah, I have a trip very quickly, which is very exciting.
Yes.
And then we're going to go do baby bears with Siler.
Yes. I'm so excited for that.
I got to fit some bears in, I love it. And I want those tiny cubs. And then we have a really big trip, July, August. To both Zimbabwe for elephants. They have incredible elephants. Like that's my focus there. Yeah. And then back to I fell in love with Zambia last year. the leopards, the winter thorn forest. That's where the lion with the baby cub in the mouth. It's just a wealth of wildlife, and it feels very private, even though it's a national park.
Yeah.
And it's still in the more affordable-ish range.
Yeah.
Compared to Botswana.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, that's a 1 month trip. So that's a really long trip.
Oh my goodness, the amount of images and experiences you're going to come back with. That's going to be fun to see.
Very excited.
Yeah. I'm excited about your baby bear trip. I look forward to hearing about that and seeing what you get and seeing if some of the same families come out. So I'll be there a few weeks after you. So
I wish you were there.
I know, me too. Me too. You'll have to give me a report when you're coming back. So where can people find you, Mary? Where can they find you on Instagram and your website? Where can they buy prints? All of that.
Okay, so I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Mary Schrader Photography. And I have a website, which is maryschraderphotography.com.
Okay.
And yeah.
So people need to go follow you, buy a print.
I love that.
Like and comment, support. And I would love that.
I just hope people feel my passion for wildlife photography. And, I feel incredibly honored to be on here and that people would be interested in my story. So I thank you.
No, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being on. I think we have so much more to talk about, and I hope we get to in the future. You're always welcome back, and it can always, if you have something you want to talk about or other things you want to show us, just let me know, and you can always come back. So I love that. People that are on, I'm a little protective of, and then I want to just like take care of them for the rest of their photography journey. Like, just come back on, show me what you're doing. I'm a little protective of people. But thank you again so much. And everyone, just give Mary a thank you. And you can say thank you and good night. And it's just been wonderful. And if you want to follow the podcast, you can follow on Instagram at Wildlife Conversations Podcast, or Jen L. Ritchie. That's me. And there's links there to register for our next one, which is Cassia Rivera. She's going to be on next week on March 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Sue Cedarholm is going to be on March 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we're going to do another Wildlife Conversations 101 on March 31st with Siler. He's coming back for part 2. We'll do our little live webinar workshop. People are saying, love this. Thank you. This was wonderful. Thank you. Thanks, Patrick, for being on. I know Harry's on too, your son. We can say hi to Harry. Hi and bye. I hope he's proud of mom.
He's not writing a paper.
Yeah, if he's not writing a paper, it's that time of year. But also, if you want to see the podcast, you can listen on Apple and Spotify, and you can also watch on YouTube, Jen Ritchie Photography. And I want to thank Robert's Camera one more time for supporting me and just being it's been so nice, Mary, to have someone be like, yeah, we want to support you, even if you're in your midlife. Woman
exactly.
in life. It's like, oh, you see the importance of this. Thank you so much. So they have been so supportive of me, and I'm just so thankful for that. So visit robertscamera.com or usedphotopro.com. And just want to thank everybody so much for being on and being such a great community. Mary, I wish you the very best, and I hope your trip goes really well. I look forward to your images.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for being on. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Mary. Bye.